Hey, I'm back again after a couple of crazy-ass Tarkov videos that don't make any goddamn sense. We do have a patch for Dark and Darker from SDF. So, and actually, there's some pretty wild changes in this, so I think this will be worth it. Hopefully we can be free of some drama for a few minutes, you know? Jesus. All right, anyway, so the servers are going down at 8:30 this morning, plus 40 minutes and then 2 hours. So somewhere around 10:30 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the servers should be back up. There's some bug fixes, TSR video options, changing items through Squire where the party wasn't reflected with the lobby character, so, you know, cosmetic stuff. Francesca's and throwing knives could not be used when Weapon Mastery was used by another class. Crossbow could be reloaded while using Warlock's Phantom Eyes. Certain areas of Goblin Cave could be accessed through Fireball jumps. Fixed an issue where the Goblin Mage's staff animation looked strange when he died. Fixed an issue where the Ghost King's clothes look unnatural when the cloth simulation option was turned off. So just basic visual fixes for the most part. Now, on to the balance stuff, and some of this is actually really profound. The curve of spell casting speed has been adjusted. So this is the spell haste, right? So how fast spells leave your hands when you fire them. I'm not exactly sure what adjusted means, if they've made it slower or if they've made it faster. And by curve, what they mean is the logarithmic curve that the stats affect the speed at which those rates grow. So it used to be a knowledge point would give 2 to 4% haste, depending on how little or how much knowledge you had, and then that would be adjusted. Now, that got reduced so that the amount of haste that we were actually getting, the spell haste that we were getting, was made worse in a couple of patches ago. So I don't know where this is going to go, but it will be interesting to check out. The curve for regular interaction speed has also been adjusted. Regular interaction speed being how fast you open doors, how fast you open chests, etc., etc. Again, one of those things that we're gonna have to check out once it's live. Wiki resources are usually the best place to see what the differences are. Okay, so I had to kind of stop this midway through because as I was going through this, I had to start going through the bullets like 2 and 3 times because as I was reading this, SDF is actively editing this list. So if this changes from the moment that I've recorded this, I apologize, but this is a very fluid thing, apparently. Like this line for Victory Strike wasn't even in here when I originally recorded this, and now we've had to do it again. So Victory Strike is limited to melee and ranged physical attacks and bladed thrown items, so no torches. Reckless Attack now only works with melee attacks. So, and Achilles Strike is limited to melee and ranged physical and bladed thrown items. So again, these are things that they are trying to limit certain aspects of like what people are able to do. Like, for instance, Smite, you can throw torches at people and it hurts. Or you used to be able to, I should say, because that's a line item here. Rogue Ambush and Weak Point Attack now only works in melee only. So no more ambushing windless crossbows from across maps and like headshotting people for their entire HP bar. Poison Weapon, Rupture Cutthroat, limited to melee and ranged physical attacks and bladed thrown items. So no torches. Again, here's the interesting thing here. Poison Weapon never used to be available for ranged attacks. Thrown weapons, crossbows, hand crossbows, none of that stuff ever worked. Now it works. So there is definitely something here for like a magic focused or magic damage focused ranger using multi-shot and a serve bow, or a crossbow wizard using poison weapon with high magic damage, ignite, and rupture even, and just trying to meme with it, like just for the funsies. You can have a mix of physical and magical damage on a wizard using a crossbow and use the buffs and start really potentially wrecking stuff. That would be pretty interesting to see, actually, just for the memes of it. Cleric's Faithfulness now slows targets hit by divine attacks. That is huge, because a divine attack is the large nuke for undead, so you could slow undead when you hit them with it. Think like Ghost King chasing somebody trying to get their slurp on. You could end up hitting them with the divine attack, and they take the status effect, so maybe it slows them down, so they don't catch your teammate as quick. Not that it's that big of a deal for people that have some practice, but if you're learning, you know what I mean? Secondarily, there's also Smite. This means that Smite could potentially cause a slow on somebody because Smite does divine magic damage. And then obviously we have Holy Strike. Now, I don't know if Divine Strike counts for this because it gives weapon damage and it's not really divine damage, but Holy Strike, when it hits the target, if it hits the target, making them slowed as a result of that, even if it's just for a short second, could end up being the difference. That could generate a nice peel for you or create a little bit of space for the cleric to be able to get a second one off. Kind of a big change. Cleric's Smite can now only be used in melee physical attacks and has an attribute bonus ratio of 50%. Last patch, Smite had its scaling completely removed. It was just a 10 flat damage. It was still worthwhile to use, but you could also put that 10 damage on a serve bow and really wreck some people. Now they've taken it away from ranged attacks. They made it melee only, which means no more thrown torches, and they've given it 50% scaling back again. So if you're like, I don't know, let's say multi-classed dagger warlock, all of a sudden you've gotten even more damage on your build. Not that I know anything about that, because I certainly don't run a Chris dagger build with poison damage and ignite and divine strike and bloodstained blade and smite. I would never do such a thing, and it wasn't already hitting people for over 100 damage using a blue Chris dagger and a couple of like spell damage items. I have no idea what that's like or why that would be even more overpowered than it already is. I didn't say anything. Forget I said anything. Warlock's Blow of Corruption now only works on melee physical attacks, so no more ranged attacks, no more BOC torch throws and stuff. It already wasn't working with the majority of ranged weapons, but I think that this is just them shoring it up and making sure that it just stays on melee only. Adjusted difficulty and obtaining learning tokens, so I don't know if this is them making the learning tokens available earlier in the leveling path or later in the leveling path. It's already really a slog once you get to about 8 tokens or so in. It starts getting really spread out to about 20 levels between, and then once you get to 10, it's even more than that. So maybe they're making this a little bit more accessible, a little bit easier, because that would, I guess, be where I would think that they would go with it. I don't know. Mind Wipe now resets daily. So this was 2 days a week. It was like Tuesday and Saturday, or Tuesday and Friday, and then they made it 4 days a week, and now it's every day. I think this is fine. It gives people the ability, especially on the more casual side, to be able to experiment with their builds a little bit more. And again, I realize that there's like this back and forth between whether or not people like or dislike multi-classing. Again, it's an experiment. I understand people's frustrations with it. I like it as a concept. I obviously see the OP side of things with this too. I'm living that right now, as a matter of fact, like with this ridiculous freaking warlock build. I'm just kind of here for the ride, I guess, if that makes any sense. As an experiment, parties' names will no longer be displayed in High Roller. Okay. Now let's see on the note side. We're trying to find a good balance of incentivizing enough play to make the system feel like you're being rewarded for progress. They are 13 learning tokens in your character by reaching level 70 instead of 270. Oh my God. Our internal data shows that the average player can reach this max level token in approximately 2 weeks, playing around 2 hours a day. So that means, 13 learning tokens at level 70. That is a massive, massive change. To assist us in testing the combos, Mind Wipe resets daily. We plan to continue fixing newly discovered broken combinations, improve the balance of perks and skills as we collect this data. Please know that we hear your concerns about the loss of class identity with the current implementation of the multi-class system. With the lessons we're learning, we're working on building a more fleshed out but limited multi-class system for a future season that we believe will address this issue. We will reveal more details in the future. We also improve some of the formulas for knowledge and regular interaction speed to make it less frustrating for starting characters and certain classes. So it sounds as though knowledge and regular interaction speed will have a bigger benefit to the first few points of knowledge being added, instead of it being more like flatline for the majority of the time, which I think is good, and which also means it's going to tail off at higher levels of knowledge, which also I think is fine. High roller parties will now need to be more organized and careful in who they target in the dungeons. As an experiment, it's nameplates. Party members' names are no longer displayed to allies. Okay, so they're removing nameplates from your party members, like overhead. So the nameplate that floats above your head, they're getting rid of those, so you won't know who your party members are when you're in fights. Okay, yeah, there's going to be a lot of team killing. A lot of people are going to die. There's going to be a lot of TKs. That's actually terrifying. Level 70 being basically max level on learning tokens now is a huge benefit to just about everyone. Much more available, much more viable. Sounds like they're doing it like every 5 levels after level 20. So I think that's good. That's good. The removal of nameplates, though. Whew. Yeah, this is a big patch. This is a big change. It's gonna be interesting. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming and checking out the video. I appreciate you very, very much. At OnePegMG on Twitter. Sub the channel here if you'd be so kind. It really, really does matter. I would very much appreciate it. As always, you can find me at twitch.tv/OnePeg, where I'm streaming live just about every single day. We've been making a lot of YouTube videos this morning. I got up at 3:45 a.m. and started making Tarkov videos, and now we're here. So we're still going, but we'll hop on live here in a little bit. I'm gonna go grab myself a cup of coffee. We'll hop on. We'll have a little chat about all things related to the dungeon, as much as I can anyway, because because I got some laryngitis still kicking around. But in the meantime, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for lending me your eyeballs. We'll see you soon, boys. Love you all. Peace.